The funerary rites had concluded. The soil had scarcely settled on Henry's coffin. When she looked at me like I was a damaged furnishing in a chamber she no longer utilized, we were alone in the parking area, sable parasols, a pewter sky. Silence. She did not weep. Instead, she ignited a cigarette with hands that remained steady and declared, "I desire a marital dissolution." Just like that, no hesitation, no theatrics, as if she'd practiced it before a mirror 1,000 times. I blinked once, not due to shock, but because I had anticipated it. She no longer cherished me, hadn't in years. I was a placeholder, a conduit still. I inquired why. She exhaled, smoke coiling around her words. "You are without utility to me now." I emitted a laugh, not the kind of mirth derived from joy, but the kind that reverberates from somewhere profound and lifeless. "Do not lament this choice subsequently," I stated quietly. Then I proceeded to the automobile, donned my dark spectacles, and never once glanced back at her. 3 days later, I ascertained she had inherited $379 million. The figures resonated in my mind. The components interlocked like gears in an antique timepiece, of course. Henry had always disdained me. He didn't articulate it, but he had no need to. The way he regarded me, as if I obstructed something superior. His daughter was a royal figure in his estimation, and I was merely the assistant who overstayed his welcome. No professional standing, no familial heritage, no ambition by their standards. I adored her. She tolerated me, and now that the elder gentleman lay 6 feet beneath the earth, she had no need to continue the pretense. I spent the night in my apartment, a bare mattress, cardboard containers, stale quietude. She'd already altered the entrance mechanisms at the dwelling we had shared for 7 years. There was no correspondence, no telephonic communication, just silence and shadows. I gazed at the ceiling, neither enraged nor wounded, simply awake. She exchanged me for emancipation. Arrived enveloped in a financial instrument and judicial documents. I didn't become incensed. I became inquisitive. The testamentary instrument, the celerity of her actions, the timing, none of it felt appropriate. One does not simply inherit $379 million. Without stipulations. Henry was a control enthusiast. He wouldn't bequeath a solitary coin without conditions. So I telephoned his legal representative, Oliver Blackwood, possessor of ancestral wealth, a polished smile, eyes like fractured stone. Regrettably, he stated, the contents of the will are sealed for beneficiaries solely. Fair enough. So I waited, not like an individual hoping for a second opportunity, but like a man observing the arachnid spin, just one thread too many. I commenced collecting electronic mail messages, financial statements. Her expenditure had already begun. Newly established accounts, discreet transfers, preliminary property inquiries she had barely formalized. The marital dissolution before she transitioned. 2 luxury vessels and legal practitioners, but it was the discourse with her sister that disrupted the rhythm. I discovered it accidentally. A voice memo on her old digital tablet she neglected to erase. "He doesn't know." Father made it sound like she'd acquire everything, but there's something else. Her sister sounded apprehensive. She always did when she was being untruthful. I replayed the recording 12 times, then once more for the silence between the words. Oliver telephoned me a week later. His tone had transformed. "Come to the office," he instructed. "Bring nothing, utter nothing." I complied. I sat in the corner like a piece of furniture. She was already present. Legs, crossed fingernails, a vivid scarlet. When the revised testamentary document was read, she smiled like a predator in fine attire. Then Oliver coughed just once, and his gaze shifted toward me. "Before we proceed," he stated, placing a document on the table, "have you perused the will thoroughly, Mrs. Her last name?" She blinked. Something shifted. He turned the page with gloved fingers. "Because there's a clause, Henry's final amendment, appended a month prior to his demise. Your husband, if still married to you at the time of your inheritance, becomes sole executor of the trust." Silence. Absolute precise silence. "What?" she whispered. He did not respond. She snatched the paper, her hands trembling for the first time. I didn't move, didn't smile, just watched the color recede from her countenance like melting wax. Outside, I followed her to the parking area. She spun around. He didn't inform me this isn't. He knew. I raised a hand. You initiated the divorce 2 days too soon. She froze, her lips parted but no sound. Emerged, just labored, shallow breathing. You presumed you had buried me with him. I stated, stepping nearer, but Henry was more cunning than you. You deceived me, no, I stated coldly. You underestimated me, she turned fury, swelling behind her eyes, tears. Finally threatening to flow, but I was already departing back to my vehicle, back to silence. The testamentary document was explicit. She inherited nothing. I, the man she deemed without utility now, managed every single coin. I never returned her calls, never answered. The electronic mail never acknowledged. The letters imploring a discussion. I donated 50 million to women's refuges under her maiden surname, left her with the sensational headlines. She still resides in the leased condominium she acquired the day after the marital dissolution, the one she paid for with a payment instrument that proved invalid. Me, I live unobtrusively. No luxury yachts, no photographs, just tranquility. Because influence isn't what you possess, it's what you relinquish when they're pleading for your return. She laments it now, but regret is without utility to me.